I'd like to call this council and committee meeting to order. Before we proceed, I want to acknowledge that the land upon which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Adirondack, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe people. We are the beneficiaries of ancient agreements such as the dish with one spoon between the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee, who agreed to share the abundance of the land through peace, friendship, and mutual respect. The two-row wampum, by which the Haudenosaunee welcomed the settlers and agreed to share the land in mutual respect. And the Treaty of Niagara, considered a fundamental document by First Nations in all future relations and treaties with the British. We recognize that we have a responsibility to be stewards of the land in cooperation and collaboration with the Indigenous peoples, not only for one generation, but for all generations to come. We understand that we have an obligation to learn the lessons of our history, educate ourselves about the experiences of the Indigenous people, and seek opportunities to heal the wounds that will result in reconciliation with our Indigenous sisters and brothers. Many First Nations, Métis, and Innu people live and work in Fort Erie. We stand with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. We have the good fortune to live in a land of such abundance, diversity, and beauty. Let us be vigilant in protecting Turtle Island. Mr. Clerk, the roll call, please.
Your Worship, all members of Council are present.
Thank you. The announcements this evening are very brief. I just want to welcome all councillors back for another new year of fun and excitement. And just want to alert the public to the fact that we are attending the Rural Ontario Municipalities Association conference next week. We have meetings with, I believe, 6 ministers or parliamentary assistants, including the Minister of Health, and that will be in furtherance of our efforts to bring to reality our proposal with respect to reimagining Douglas Memorial. There's no addendum this evening. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we have one upcoming public meeting. That's a public meeting for property on Morrison Avenue in the Alliston Woods Phase 2 area. That meeting will take place on Monday, January 26th, 2026, in the atrium at the Town Hall. Sorry, is that a public meeting or is that, Ms. Stillwater, is that a public meeting or is that an open house? It's a public meeting. Yeah, so that will take place in the council chambers. Yeah, okay. There are no public meetings this evening. There is work under Planning, Building, and Bylaw Services, and that's Councillor Christensen.
Thank you, Your Worship. This session of Planning, Building, and Bylaw Services is now in session. There are no presentations and delegations this evening. There is one report, PBBS 01-2026. Councillor Dubanow moves. That report is now on the floor for discussion and questions. Your Worship?
Just a couple of questions with respect to the agreement. I support the notion of a memorandum of agreement, but why would we require the library to send an invoice if we already have the data with respect to how much electricity has been used?
Excuse me, Ms. Delwaria.
Madam Chair, I would like to defer that question to Ms. Antonio. She's here.
Through you, Councillor Christensen, to the Mayor. The reason why we require the invoice is the account through CNP is held under the Fort Erie Public Library's name, so we actually don't have access to the invoice. We have the data for the consumption being collected from the EV units through our flow reporting, but we do need their invoice so we can reconcile both because they will have consumption charges not related to the EV station within that as well.
I understand that. So we would need to know what charges they are receiving in terms of hourly rates and what have you.
We'll be able to provide what we have, but it's for that reconciliation piece for our records as well.
If I might, Madam Chair, if the MOU is terminated, what happens to the charging stations?
I don't know why we would terminate it. It's not for the interest of either parties. It's sort of putting a mechanism in place so that they receive their reimbursement and so that we can provide them that. But should it be terminated, I guess that we'd have to figure out another way to reconcile those payments.
So I wonder if that's something that could be made available to Council before the 26th when we deal with the bylaw. Thank you.
Councillor Flagg.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just curious as to why we are using plurals in the locations, but most of this references only the Ridgeway Library location, and as does the memorandum.
At the Ridgeway, to you, Councillor Flagg, at the Ridgeway Library location, it is one charging unit with 2 charging stations attached to it. So there are 2 heads, and it was just to cover this for in the future if the town decides to put more stations in that location, so we're not coming back for approval.
But are we looking at doing this in the location in Fort Erie?
So just to clarify, the one outside Town Hall? Or?
No, the library in Fort Erie, down by the north end.
We haven't looked into that yet. I believe when we were going through establishing locations for the EV charging stations, due to how we'd have to run the conduit, all the asphalting there, that wasn't a viable location for an EV charging station. So at this time, no, that's not being considered.
Okay, so it's just a memorandum then, just for the one location?
Correct.
Not plural libraries?
Not plural libraries, yes, correct,
Okay.
sorry.
Any other questions? Councillor Noyes?
Thank you, Councillor Christensen. Just adds on to the mayor's question about what happens if it gets terminated. And I guess it's 60 days notice. Again, I understand it's probably a win-win for both. But the library could say, okay, we've changed our mind and here's your 60 days written notice. Who owns them? The town owns them. The town would then be able to take them out, I would imagine.
Through you, Councillor Christensen, to Councillor Noyes. We do own the EV charging stations. It's on our town-owned land, so it is our asset. We would be able to remove them if we needed to remove those stations.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? No? All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Antonio.
Thank you.
I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Now we move to new business inquiries. Are there any new business inquiries? There being none, we move to the business status report. Any questions with respect to the business status report? There being none, I call this session of Planning, Building and Bylaw Services to an end and return the chair to you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Christensen. I'm assuming you have a later time in the pool tonight? That takes us to Infrastructure Services, Councillor Lewis.
Thank you, Your Worship. Infrastructure Services is now in session. We have no presentations or delegations tonight. We have no reports. Any inquiries or from members of council?
Yes, through the chair. Currently, right now, we are analyzing the extent of the damage on Point Abino Road. Right now, it looks like about 230 meters of the newly paved asphalt has been damaged through the SAISH event. Right now, we're just overseeing and looking to see what our alternatives are for replacing the road. Currently, the road is made safe for one lane of traffic, and that is acceptable for the amount of residents that are down in that area right now. But we are overlooking and looking at all options at replacing that asphalt.
Thank you. And just one other question. Since we recently went through a process with the neighborhood, including residents and stakeholders, will we be giving any thought to how to inform the residents in that area? I'm just thinking, since we've gone through the process of a fairly up-to-date list of who's who in the neighborhood, at some point we'll be doing like a direct mail or an email out to those contacts we have with kind of a status and where we're at.
Yes, through the chair, we will be making contact with the residents when we have a final plan in place. We are looking at all options and how we're going to replace the road, whether it's going to be like for like or any other alternatives as well.
Perfect, thank you. And then one last question. I should have mentioned it to the CAO before the meeting, but I'm just wondering, will this be part of some of our decks going to Roma most recently, or since we've had government funding for some portions of Point Abano Road South in the past, but not for all, will we be bringing that to Roma or any plan there?
Thanks for the question. We do have a number of delegations going forward to talk about shoreline protection, resilience, climate change to a number of the different ministries. So from a broader perspective around looking forward, we do have that on the radar. We do make reference to the flooding event in those, like the most recent flooding event in those decks. And the repair on that road, if you recall, dates back to the 2022 storm where we did receive some funding back. Maybe it was the 2019 storm, but we did receive some MDRA funding, which did resurface the road in that first instance. And I think when Acting Director Peasel references looking at other options, we'll be looking at how that funding flowed and how that may be applied to the repair on that road going forward.
Perfect, thank you. And I appreciate the information coming, and obviously more discussion when we get to committee with this as well, so thank you. That being said, I'll just go back. Any other new business or inquiries by members? Seeing none, anything to the business status report? Councillor Dubanow?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. I noticed that the business status report that we have on the agenda here is blank. I don't see anything in it. I just was wondering if that is an issue with the agenda or if we actually don't have anything. It must be my machine. Nope. Is it mine? Okay. No, sorry. Councillor Flagg was just verifying that it's not my machine here. I just see it's blank, and I just wanted to, perhaps we can get a clarification on that. That's all.
As opposed to going to my theory on the blank page, I'll turn it over to the acting director.
Through the chair, due to some unforeseen circumstances with an internal staff employee dealing with a personal tragedy, we've had to pull those reports off that were incomplete. So right now we are just dealing with no reports as of the moment. So we had to pull those reports.
Nope, no further explanation required. Thank you very much.
Anything else to the business status report or lack thereof? Seeing none, back to you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lewis. That takes us to Corporate and Community Services, Councillor Flagg.
Thank you, Your Worship. Corporate and Community Services in session. No presentation, delegations, or reports this evening. Anything on new business or inquiries? Anything on the business status report? Well, Your Worship, I will turn it back to you after a very quick session.
Fine job, Councillor Flagg. Need a motion for us to go into closed session. We have several items. Councillor Christensen, any questions or comments about that? Early vote. All those in favor? That is carried. Okay, so we're back in the council chambers, and Councillor Lewis, I understand you have the resolution for us to rise and reconvene from closed session.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself. The council does now rise and reconvene from closed session at 6:42 p.m. with report. 11.1, that council approved the closed session minutes of December the 15th, 2025, and that 11.2, that council receives confidential report LLS 01-2026 titled OLT Litigation Update 3957 Rebstock Road, OLT 25-000737, and authorize the town solicitor to proceed as directed in closed session. And 11.3, the council receives a memorandum, Town of Fort Erie lease renewals for information purposes.
Are there any questions or comments? Councillor Dubanow?
Yes, Your Worship. Can we vote on each item separately?
Can, sure. Okay, so at the request of Councillor Dubanow, we're going to deal with the first item, the closed meeting minutes of December the 15th, 2025. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. The litigation update with respect to 3957 Rebstock Road. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And the lease renewals memorandum. All those in favor? None opposed? That is carried. Okay, so before we go to scheduling of meetings, Councillor Lewis, you had a question that you wanted to raise under corporate services and got away from you.
Perfect, and thank you for reminding me again, because it almost got lost. One quick question. I know there's been the issue involving Niagara Health and what the future of Douglas Memorial Site will ultimately be, and there's been multiple conversations at various stages around this horseshoe. But I'm just wondering if you might be able to provide an update on any communications as of recent with Niagara Health. I know we're going, or I shouldn't say we're going, because I'm not, but some members of council are joining you at Roma. And if there's any updates with respect to that initiative.
Yeah, so following the resolution by this council to hire a consultant with respect to Douglas Memorial for both the building and for the service aspect, I did correspond with both the Minister of Health and the Chair of Niagara Health to inform them what we had done. My correspondence with the Chair of Niagara Health also asked whether they'd made any headway with respect to their acute care bed conundrum. That's a situation where they've got acute care beds occupied by non-acute patients, which causes the backlog in the emergency department and causes the emergency services offload delays. I haven't received a response to that. I did get a response on Friday acknowledging that that the chair had received my correspondence and indicating that because of the technical aspect of the acute care bed inquiry, she was referring that to their staff to respond to. I'm going to be following up her response just to say that we would like to get that information. We are going to be meeting with the Minister of Health, and any information that sheds any light on our reimagining Douglas Memorial is helpful.
Thank you, and best of luck at Roma for whoever's joining, and happy to hear that we're having a meeting with the minister.
Yep, I'm very optimistic. Okay, scheduling of meetings. Councillor Noyes.
Yes, there's an SPCA meeting on January 15th at 5:30 at Mary Reinhardt's house, and there's a Fort Erie not-for-profit housing meeting on January 21st at Betty's Restaurant at 9 o'clock.
Councillor Dubanow.
Yes, Your Worship. The Heritage Standing Committee has a meeting this Wednesday, which is January 14th at 1 p.m. here at Town Hall in Conference Room 3.
When was that again?
Sorry, it says 1,300 hours. I believe that's 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Anyone else? Councillor Christensen.
There's a meeting of the Fort Erie Public Library Board on Tuesday, January the 20th at 4:30 p.m. at the Centennial branch of the library.
Thank you. Any other meetings? Then if not, Councillor Dubanow, would you be good enough to do 6:46?
Yes, Your Worship, with pleasure. I would like to move that council and committee adjourn at 6:46 p.m. this evening.
All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you.